Greetings, Titans. Welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Dave. This is Dave Takes It On. Ofgem's just announced the price cap is increasing by 10% in November, and it's also likely to go up again in January. Our gas and electric bills are going up. Are we headed for another massive surge in prices? Will the government need to step in again? And why is it happening? Well, today the price of electricity is controlled by the world wholesale price of gas, and the price of petrol is controlled by OPEC. Is it time for a change? Well, almost 20 years ago, I met the then energy minister regarding solar PV. And at the time, he gave his rah-rah speech about how well he was doing. He finished by asking if anyone had any questions. Yeah, I did. I said that I've signed up for green energy, which I had, 100% renewable, and I pay a premium for doing that. My electricity bill has just gone up 10%. Has the price of sunshine gone up 10%? Well, he answered with a totally straight face, look, if we didn't put up green electricity prices in line with fossil fuel generated electricity prices, everybody would stop using fossil fuel generated electricity and sign up for renewable. Well, this is the crazy world of the UK electricity business, and a shallow dive into it reveals it's dramatically much worse. Who actually owns the national grid? Well, that would be National Grid PLC. It's a publicly owned company listed on the various stock exchanges. And shareholders, the main one is BlackRock, the world's largest finance and investment company with over $10 trillion AUM, which is assets under management, along with Capital Group, another investment, Vanguard, and these are simply gargantuan finance entities. So, first shock, the majority of shareholders or owners are finance, investment, private equity and pension fund companies. Electricity today is just another vehicle to support investments. And the people who make the technical decisions about the grid are also just financial people who make their decisions based on the return it will generate for their directors and investors. And the people who pay for their gigantic salaries, bonuses and share dividends, well, it's us suckers. And pay that last year we did. If we just have a quick glance at the 2023-24 financial year, it's all in pounds sterling, 4.4 billion profit, value added per share 80 pence gross, return 8.9%, dividend per share 58 pence. Yeah, we're paying them a fortune. So back to UK electricity. Many people are asking why our energy prices rocketed to such an extent that the government should previously had to step in and subsidise our bills. Well, if we just look at the wholesale prices of gas and electricity, May 2021, it was around £60 per megawatt hour, which it roughly is today. Russia invades Ukraine, immediate jump up to 200, then gradual crash upwards after that to 500. It's nearly a tenfold increase. Pure fear, say no more. The reason for the latest 10% increase is because the finance bods that own and run the grid have computer algorithms that run them that believe that wholesale prices of gas might go up again this winter. Not right now, but possibly later this year. So being investors at heart, they like to make a profit so they can buy their electricity ahead of demand and just hope that prices rise. They make a lovely profit and they'll be well protected. But of course, if prices fall, then they will be effectively losing money, but of course they don't. They kindly pass that on to ourselves in higher prices. Ofgem is there to protect us and to see that the prices do not rise too much, but Ukraine showed up just how good they are at that. Ofgem is about as much use as an iron in a nudist colony. Now let's take a quick look at the North Sea. You'll find out why in a minute. We control much of the North Sea that lies within our territorial waters, up to about 13 miles offshore. The rest of it is shared out between surrounding countries, Norway, Denmark, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands. But most of us have sold off rights to certain areas, and today over 10% of the North Sea is effectively privately owned. And it'll not surprise you to know who owns the most. Well, there's 61 companies now own 10%, that 10%. Most are publicly listed, 1/3 are privately owned, handful are state-owned. China, Russia, Korea, the United Arab Emirates. Private equity companies own 29.7% of the North Sea. And we're straight back into money. Well, is this important? Yes, because the grid does not produce any electricity itself, none at all. But it does control who can supply electricity into the grid and how much it pays. Now I'm going to take you on to a quick trip into the what if world of green, renewable North Sea electricity. In a previous video, I stated the wind's largest wind farm was Hornsea, obviously in the North Sea. That's no longer the case. It was at the time, but recently a new wind farm has connected into the grid. This is Dogger Bank A. But Dogger Bank B and C are currently under construction as well, and they are well advanced. And the figures already are staggering. By 2030, could be providing enough electricity for 120 million homes. I'm going to quote here from Patrick Harnett. He was the Senior Programme Director for Hornsea 2, the world's largest wind farm. His next project will be leading the construction of Hornsea 3, an even more ambitious project with a capacity of 2.8 gigawatts. Hornsea 3 will produce enough renewable electricity to power 3.2 million UK homes. Now we just need to take that in for a moment. Yet our government's still talking about pushing nuclear that's 35 years away. And 120 million homes, we've only got 30 million, so forgetting all the other wind farms like Hornsea and solar farms and private houses and businesses with solar panels, tidal power, pumped hydro, everything else. See, domestic consumption is approximately 1/3 of our total consumption. Industrial is about 1/3 and other for the other third. I would imagine things like data centres and street lighting. Yes, I've heard all the comments about what happens when the wind doesn't blow, but it actually does. That's why they put them out in the sea. It's usually windy somewhere. We've got them up in Scotland, we've got them off the west coast, the east coast, the south coast. They're everywhere. But now they're looking into even more wind with floating wind. Build a big floating platform, anchor it out in deep sea, where it could tap into 80% of the world's offshore wind resource. Is nobody else seeing the potential here? Well, yes, luckily. An organisation called Commonwealth. It's a not-for-profit organisation, and they do. They state, we live in a time of overlapping challenges, concentrated corporate power, rising inequalities, a broken housing system, unaccountable control over our technological future, creaking public services, a devalued care system, tax on working people, all unfolding within a deepening climate and nature emergency. We believe these challenges share a common root, that's ownership. So Commonwealth was founded in 2019 based on the insights that ownership is the structuring force in our economy, and the current relations of property and power are social in origin and therefore can and must be reimagined. Working at all levels from community and grassroots to national international policymakers, we combine rigorous analysis and research with bold ideas for an economy that works for everyone. So this is a not-for-profit organisation, and they are looking into renewable energy, particularly wind power and North Sea. So using our own resources, Hornsea, Dogger Bank and all the others, they could supply the whole of the UK. Plus we could become a huge exporter of renewable energy through our existing interconnectors to Belgium, Denmark, France, Ireland, Netherlands and Norway. We could take back ownership from the faceless, profit-driven financial gurus and become energy independent in 5 years. And Commonwealth predicts if we do, that the price of electricity will drop, obviously along with pollution and any dependency on the oil giants. Is anyone out there seeing any problem with any of this? Well, Labour's promised a 100% renewable green grid by 2030. Seems to me we're reasonably well on the way, but we're never going to get there while the finance bods own and control our electricity grid purely for profit. Who else is for kicking them out? I'm Dave.